Grand Rising Loves. This is the altar spread for the collective today. It's always nice to see different cards, but I always get excited seeing this. This can come up every time and I would be happy because I really believe this practice to be the most powerful. So, the sacred geometry that showed up today is infinity. So if you look, infinity brings the message of possibility. And what I love about infinity is that it's unfathomable. So whatever you think that you can dream up or wish for or know is not even a fraction of what it actually is possible of being. And we want to think that we know what infinite means because the word is so used, and there is an impossible way of knowing. So this is all about going beyond what is even known. So think about that for a minute. Infinite literally means beyond measure. It is impossible to know. Impossible to know. So if something is literally impossible to know, what the fuck would anybody be anxious or worried about? Like, really, you have to lay down your control. Really slip into surrender and say, okay, I know that all possibility is unfathomable, and I let go. I let go and let be. Just say that to yourself. It is literally impossible for me to know all the possibilities. So I let go. I let go. It's liberating. It's liberating. And so water showed up in the reverse. Now water is so powerful because water literally is a necessity of all living things. And so even in any molecular structure of minerals, there exists the hydrogen, oxygen molecules. But water has been scientifically proven to have memory. And Dr. Emoto's studies have showed that just by putting, you don't even have to say it aloud, just by putting the intent of love into water, opening your heart, it actually reconstructs the molecule of water. That is fucking phenomenal. If you can do that to water, just plain water, imagine what that does to the water molecules in your body. And the same water that you drink is the same water that people fish in the Amazon, is the same water that rains down in Europe, is the same water of the Baltic Sea. You get my meaning? Like, there's no separation of water. And so water showing up in the reverse says you need to reconnect with water and help heal water. And so when you do that, the chakra of water in our bodies, according to Eastern teaching, is the sacral. So the sacral chakra is what houses knowledge of true self. this is also creation. And so water, like I said, there's not a living thing that doesn't need it. Water is the inception of creation. And so as a human, it is held in that sack. It's fluid, and we are fluid beings. And it's just so powerful when you think about the extensive necessity of water, but how powerful it would be if you just connect with it. Imagine the unfathomable possibilities of transformation back into love. And so you can connect with water by taking long baths, by before you shower, just say, I love you, thank you. And just as the water comes on your body, it actually will penetrate and affect the water molecules within you as well. It's very healing. And so that's what Water in the Reverse talks about, how water can be healing for you in this reconnection. And so honoring water. So this vessel that I have on my altar is actually full of water. And that's how I honor her, water. I am also constantly putting love into my water. I make offerings to natural bodies of water that are near me, near my home. And so constantly doing that, connecting with water in a way that's very sacred to me. And gratitude is so important. Love, gratitude, and reverence are the recipe for healing, hands down. And so Zinc Site showed up, and I'm excited about Zinc Site. I do not have a Zinc Site, and so I've shown you this before I pull it up on my iPod. Isn't that beautiful? That just like brilliant orange stone, but look at how it grows. Isn't that phenomenal? Like it's mind-blowing, the beings that we share this earth plane with. Just beautiful. But it represents creation. Now, the woman who created this deck, she broke down each into different elements. So water, wind, fire, earth, and storm. So fire, this is a firestone. She actually equates the fire element with the sacral, which is what Eastern teaching talks about, the sacral as water. So really the cohesiveness of this is the space of creation, because also in Eastern teaching, the sacral is the creative space. It's what houses knowledge of true self, but it's how we create. So even if you are not birthing a human, we are always birthing creation from that space. It is so powerful, the energy that is housed within that pelvic space of our bodies. And so she equates that to fire because of passion, because that's where we are creative, but it's also where we are intimate, and it houses knowledge of self and self-esteem. And so really it's the same space that's being talked about with both decks, but she equates it to fire. Eastern teaching is ancient, and honestly, energetically, it feels more water than it does fire, but you can bring the fire of the solar plexus down into the sacral, and it creates steam. And steam is what powers locomotives. It's fucking phenomenal. But creation, this stone helps you to spark that fire of passion and creation. And it really wants you to reflect on what are you creating, because everything you're witnessing in your reality is you're creating. So what do you want to create? And it's telling you to get clear, and that zinc sight would actually help you connect that space of creation with the divine. Instead of creating from ego, you would be creating from your divine path. And really, that's what bringing the solar plexus, because that's what houses knowledge of path and purpose, down into the sacral. So bringing that fire energy of path and purpose down into, through meditation, down into the waters of the sacral creates that steam. And it does house this fiery, passionate drive and motivation. So I love that showed up today. So getting clear on that, but also drop the expectation and just really, I love how my beautiful sister, soul sister Rebecca says, whenever she manifests, she always says, bring me this or something better. And so she opens her divine manifestation to say to Source, just give me what you're going to give me. But can this at least be the baseline? So I like that. Anyhow, I love when Ho'oponopono shows up. So the immeasurable power of the heart way, right? So Ho'oponopono is an ancient practice of the indigenous Hawaiians, and I'm an advanced practitioner, but the practice is all about being, first of all, 100% responsible, but then creating a cleanse to bring it back to the space before inception. So before there was any knowledge. So going back into the infinite pool of creation, the void, that's what Ho'oponopono is. So what you're doing is when something shows up in your reality, you don't ever react. You right away say, I created this. And then you want to excavate the part of you that created it. How was this created by me? There is some part of me, because I am Source, I am God, I created this. So don't limit yourself. Do not limit yourself, because you are an infinite being. You are an unfathomable being. It is impossible to know all that you are. Holy shit, right? It is impossible for you to know. It is an impossibility for you to know all that you are. Isn't that liberating? It just frees you of so much work, right? So really what this human experience is about is returning to love, but really healing all those parts of you that block love. So we're here to heal. We're here to remove blah, blah, blah. We are here to remove those parts that create the wedge of love between you and love, from embodying love. And so Ho'oponopono seems so mind-bogglingly easy, and it really is. It really is. If you read the studies of Dr. Emoto and water, it is mind-blowing. You sit there and you can see that he had one vessel of water and just infused it with love. I love you. Flash froze it and took pictures with a microscope, and it had these beautiful crystalline structures. Another one he said hateful things to. Flash froze it, took pictures, nothing. And it's like mind-blowing. That's instantaneous change. There's no wait period. So if you fully embody love, imagine your unfathomable power to create joy, bliss, love. And that's the power of Ho'oponopono. The problem that I see with Ho'oponopono is that a huge amount of the community that practice it have issues with taking responsibility, because they equate responsibility with guilt. And so really they're not embodying love when they're being responsible. They really don't take responsibility. There's still a part of them that's like, I didn't do this shit. But we did. Because there is only one. That's also freeing, right? When you can take out the disdain or discomfort or disharmony or dislike, all the disses, right? You take it out of your existence. Feel how light that feels. This whole spread is about liberation. Really. Really. Responsibility is not about creating a heavier load for yourself. It's about lightening the fucking load. That's the paradox. Whoa, right? It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And it's so beautiful. Thank you. All the time. So, I love you. And I'm sorry. Please forgive me.